Okay, we were sitting around a campfire last weekend. The flames were flickering, marshmallows on sticks, when Kayla said, I've got a scary story. Kayla, want to tell them what it was?
Well, once upon a time, there was an agent who didn't have a personal brand, and she spent her days cold calling, buying leads, and posting beautiful content that nobody remembered or paid attention to.
And the scariest part, she looked and sounded exactly like every other agent out there.
But good news, we're here to rewrite that ending. This November, we're hosting Camp Modern Agent, a 5-day challenge, and instead of campfire horror stories, we'll be building brands that make you stand out in your market as the go to agent.
Camp Modern Agent is for members and non members alike, and it's the place to be if you're ready for your community to say, oh, you need an agent. I know who you should call. And spoiler, it's you.
So, if you're tired of working so hard and still being overlooked and under-referred, join us at Camp Modern Agent November 3rd through the 7th. All the details can be found at modernagentsocialclub.com/camp.
So leave your scary marketing stories for good and come build a memorable brand that leads to more referrals at Camp Modern Agent. You post that you're at the football stadium. Why do I struggle with sports words? Carousel posts or reels.
I want girls on bread.
Did anyone notice the Friends reference?
That's all I can think about. How do I get more leads?
How do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are two agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go. Hey, Kayla.
Hey, Chelsea. Welcome back to another episode of the Modern Agent Marketing Girls podcast. I feel like I've talked to you a lot this week.
We have been talking every day, and I smell like a bonfire. Do you?
Right. Oh, yeah. I'm a little crispy. Got some bug spray, all over. It's real fantastic. It feels good.
It really does.
What are we talking about, Chelsea?
We are talking about Camp Modern Agent. It is our free 5-day challenge that is happening right now. And if you're hearing this episode on Tuesday the 4th or even Wednesday, you can still join. The replays are available until Sunday at midnight. So you can jump in and get all the secret details on how to build your personal brand and show up way more powerfully on Instagram.
Yeah, if you've ever listened to any of our episodes and you've thought, okay, that's really good, but then what does that mean for me? That's what camp is for. Camp's to actually help you really define what your brand is, what makes you interesting, what makes you memorable, and how to pour that around your real estate content and become the go-to agent in your community. So it's been a lot of fun so far.
It is so fun. I like thinking of it as if I'm actually camping because do you like the bonfire smell?
I do like it. I don't like it when it's still on my hair the next morning, but I do like it. Yeah.
In the
You know what I mean?
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
Right.
But we're not actually camping. Have you ever camped in real life?
I have technically camped.
Technically. Keyword.
Keyword there, folks. Yeah, I mean, I remember as a kid, we went to a campground here and there as a family. I don't know that we actually stayed in tents. And now it's hilarious because my parents they upgraded to a pretty nice RV. And so we go to campgrounds with them and my kids will be like, I love camping. And I'm like, don't tell your friends that you're camping because they're going to think, oh, then you can go with us. And then you're going to go and you're going to sleep on the ground with a sleeping bag with rocks under your back. And you're going to be like, what are we doing? We're not cut out for real camping. What about you?
I camped a lot with my family growing up, which when I met my husband, he's like, that is shocking to me. But I loved it. I don't think I would love it quite so much anymore, but I thought it was so fun to just be outside and have the bonfire. And obviously the whole shower, going to the bathroom, that whole thing was difficult, but it was just peaceful and I don't know, relaxing. I would have preferred probably a camper, but we just camped in tents and
Yeah.
it was we got this big 2-room kind of style tent where my brother and I had one half and then my mom and dad had the other half. And It was fun. I have lots of good memories from that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I love the being outside. I love like, gosh, we camped with my whole family, maybe like 2 summers ago, just at a local campground here, like 45 minutes away. But we stayed in the RV or we had like cabins there, so it was not real camping. But it was so fun, like waking up in the morning. The kids, like, first thing they did was like run to the creek, pick up a stick. They made up a game. Like, it was like, okay, this is so nice just to like simplify life a little bit. But then let's go inside and make our coffee and
See,
watch some TV and
the morning was my favorite. Like, I loved getting out of the tent, and it was still kinda cool out, and you would make your well, I didn't have coffee as a kid, but my parents would make their coffee, we'd make
yeah.
breakfast on the fire. We had, like, all the things, like the Coleman camping stove, and we'd bring pots and, like, a tub to wash our dishes, and
Yeah.
it was very, like, living on the land.
I love it.
It
I
was
love
so fun.
it. I
Now I wanna go
love
camping.
I love that you're more off grid than I am in this one circumstance in our lives.
I actually, though, I think now as an adult, I have watched way too many thrillers, listened to way too many crime podcasts, and read way too many books, and now I would be really creeped out to camp in a tent overnight
Yeah,
if it was, like, just us. I would need to go with, like, a full group. Although in the scary movies, it's always a full group that
right.
the serial killer comes for, so maybe it's better to stick to
That's
our family.
hilarious. Yeah. I've been trying to talk my husband into getting some kind of camper, like, even if it's not as fancy as my parents, just something. The problem is we have our family of 6, and so to tow a camper, like, if you were getting an actual RV, that you're just talking so much more money, but if you get an actual camper, they're not priced terrible, but you have to like, haul it with a truck, so we'd have to take 2 vehicles to go anywhere, and then by the time that you do that, it's like, well, we probably won't go super far because 'cause we're not gonna drive 2 vehicles to, like, Arizona, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, it's a little bit of
Not
a
like,
bummer.
oh, what is the movie RV with what actor is that?
I know what you're talking about.
Is it from The Hangover?
From
Or am I picturing something else?
Wait, are you talking about with Robin Williams?
Oh, that's Robin Williams? I don't know, I was picturing that guy from the Stu from The Hangover. I don't know why I pictured him.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, what I found is Robin Williams, which is so
Robin Williams.
funny.
That makes me wanna watch Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire, Flubber, all of those movies. My kids have gotten into those, and it's been so fun to, like, go back in time. The next one on our list right now is The Mask. Maybe we should watch that soon.
Mm.
Like, that'd be so fun. Anyway,
Okay,
guys,
sorry, we're
that's
back
our
back to
nostalgia.
priorities. We're kinda playing, like, the North Route, South Route game today,
Yeah,
in a
yeah, yeah.
way. We're asking lots of questions. We're actually not asking, we're answering lots of your questions, and we're gonna kinda do it rapid fire. Not rapid fire, but faster than a whole episode dedicated to one topic. So we're gonna cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, a lot of these questions are things that people ask us all the time, but most of them are not questions that could really take a whole episode to really dive into, but we still wanted to acknowledge these questions. So, okay, let's go with the first question. People have asked, I have been so consistent, but I get no engagement. What am I doing wrong? What would you
Okay,
say?
I want to ask you first, what are you being consistent with? If you are being consistent posting to your grid, but you're not having conversations, that would be one disconnect. I like to work backwards. Like, okay, I'm consistently posting, but maybe you're completely alienating your stories. Or maybe you haven't consistently had the same call to action that's inviting people to take that next step. So it's asking yourself, what am I missing? What's the missing piece in my consistency? Because posting is great, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. So what else can you do that's going to invite someone to take an action? So it could be having the same carousel end slide on every post where you're saying like, "Hey, comment fall guide for my local guide," or comment mini consult to set up a mini consult. Like, what do you want someone to do right now in this period of time? And ask that or and ask them to take that action at the end. It could even be as something like setting up a home search or anything like that. The second part to that is making sure that you're not only relying on your feed for consistency because your stories are where your warmest people are. So being able to use your stories for more of that place to get like having the carousel end side is great, right? But when you're only relying on that, that's not necessarily a warm place to connect. Your stories are more like that, like you're inviting them inside. They already probably know you and follow you. So that's a better place, in my opinion, and what has worked for us and for our members where people have more conversions is through stories. So using different engagement stickers, popping up question stickers, getting just like behind the scenes of your life, both real estate and real life, and asking questions that are going to like drive people to your DMs, and that you start having conversations. That's going to start to just get the ball rolling for you, and you're going to see some more traction with that. As far as getting people to reach out, we can't necessarily expect like I'm going to post and someone's going to message me and say, "Can you sell my house tomorrow?" But it's through showing up over time consistently, both in stories and in your feed. And if you once a week could repeat the same type of, hey, if you are thinking about buying or blah blah blah, like here's your next step, and then dropping a question sticker or saying, do you want to get on a list to get a custom home search set up, drop your email, like having that same thing every week. Like don't think if I talk about this once, everyone's going to see it and like that's good enough. It needs to happen so often because Instagram is so much noise. So you need to cut through that noise by showing up with that same message over and over and over. And you're going to learn more about that in camp. So if you're not in there, get in there.
Get in there. We got room for you.
Is
Yeah,
there anything you would add?
I was just gonna say, I think of consistency as how often, how often are you showing up? How often are you posting? How often are you on your stories? All of that. But like what you just said, it's also being repeatable too. Like, are you consistently sharing the same message? Are you consistently sharing similar graphics? Are you consistently sharing even like similar colors, fonts, all of those things? Like that kind of stuff just makes your content so much more sticky. I used the example once before of like how I was making homemade granola for my kids, and I was putting in like the oats, and I was putting in the chocolate chips and the shreds of coconut and all of these things. And all of those things are basically like, a little bit of real estate, a little bit of local, a little bit of your personality, all of that. But the thing that held it all together was the honey. And the honey is something that's not super obvious, but it's kind of like the vibes, right? So it's like when you go onto someone's account and you're like, ooh, her account feels really like fun and exciting, or feels really hilarious. Like she's so funny, or this feels just super cozy. I don't know what it is about it, but I just really like kind of hanging out here. Like that's the honey, that's the sticky sweet stuff that we want you to have. And that is basically your personal brand, which again, that's what we're going over in Camp Modern Agent. So if you don't have that consistently as well, showing up 3 times a week or in your stories every day isn't going to move the needle as much. So definitely be repeatable. And in fact, we just recently released a new freebie. Do you remember the link for that? Do we have that link somewhere?
It's not a like repeatable speak out loud link. You'll have to get it from our show notes. It's like
Is
a
it in
flow
our show
desk form.
notes?
Yeah, in
Okay.
our show
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, it is super helpful, and it just kind of helps you reframe the idea around content instead of always feeling like you need more content ideas or you need to come up with something brand new. Like there's a couple things you can do again and again and again that your followers will really grow to love. So that one's a really good one to check out.
It's really like thinking about it like your social media would be a TV show. Like what type of show would it be? Who do you want watching it? Who is going to like what are they going to find entertaining about it or interesting about it? Because really people are on social media because they're looking for content they're interested in, not just content that's educational or what their friends are sharing this week. It's like your algorithm is going to show you the content you engage with. Like if we both pulled up our phones, they're going to be completely different on our explore feeds, especially if you would look at like your husband's versus yours, you know? So knowing that and trying to dial in like what do I want to be consistent about? Like, yes, real estate's a part of that, but that sticky personal brand piece is such an important piece that's going to differentiate you from every other agent in your town, every other agent on Instagram that no one can replicate. Like if you, whether that's mom life that you're bringing in, or it's that series that you find in our free guide that's linked in the show notes, like something that you're doing in that capacity and getting
Yeah.
consistent with is going to be a lot more powerful than just posting every day, for
Yep.
example, which brings me to my next question for you.
Let's hear it.
And that is, how many times a week should I post?
Oh, this is a good one. So, yes, it ties into that perfectly, right? It is about being consistent for you, but it's so much more than that. So, think of it a little less about like the logistics and a little more about the actual impact. How are you connecting with your followers? How memorable is your content? And then how consistent is your personal brand? Are you using similar scenes in your home or in your car? Do you wear similar colors in your videos? Are you holding similar like cups, or are you showing this is similar parts of your life again and again, right? All of those things are so much more important than actually how many times a week that you post. We both follow creators who post every day, sometimes twice a day, that we love their content. We also both follow creators who post maybe once a week, but they're in their stories every day and we love their content. So, what you're actually sharing doesn't matter near as much as the depth of what you're sharing. So, I would choose what works for you. If you're a person that you're like, you know what, I love these 3 topics and I wanna really go through them and I have all these ideas, whatever, post 3 times a week. Like, do that for sure. If you're a person that you're like, "That's way too much for me. I don't like my feed to be too busy. I'd really rather focus on my stories," post once a week. Like, there's no wrong answers here. And as far as like, if you're posting carousels, posting reels, whatever, like post what you love and what your audience seems to gravitate towards. Everyone's audiences are different. You're going to hear people say like, my people only love carousels or they only really reply to reels. I think both are important. I think there's a need for both of them, just as people consume information differently, but kind of just finding a rhythm that works for you and then sticking with that rhythm. You're teaching your audience how to engage with you, how to connect with you. So I think you just got to pick a pattern that works for you.
Another thing you can do is theme your days, where this is just going to give you some type of a framework to follow. And it also helps you be accountable without like needing to actually be it's built in accountability, right? So if like on Tuesday you always post something local and your followers come to recognize that, then you don't want to let your followers down, right? So it's not just about like, oh, I'm not going to post today. It's like, oh no, I better get that out. They're excited to see that. So like giving yourself a framework of Tuesday is this, Wednesday is this, Thursday is this, and then that's all I post this week. That's totally fine. But those themes are going to be so much more like memorable because people start to know what to expect from you. It's kind of like if you think of your favorite person to follow on Instagram, you could probably come up with their pattern, right? Like, well, they usually post like a photo dump of their week and then they post like a reel of the party they threw, or they have their little like nuances or whatever. So if you give yourself the framework, it's going to help you plug in what you want instead of
Yeah.
always looking at a blank page being like, what out of the sky should I post today? Like it
Yes.
gives you that like starting point. So like, okay, local, what could that mean for me this week? And then you run with that. I find that helps me a lot. And then if you want to take it one step further, if you actually call it out to your followers, like in your stories, you could say like, what should I post next, this or that? Or it could be something like, hey, tomorrow I'm sharing this. It's going to have that built-in accountability that you now made yourself accountable to your followers that you're going to share this piece of content, and then it's going to keep you on track and keep you showing up. That is like my biggest hack for everything. There's like we do our marketing therapy Thursday. It's like people expect that. So it's not like, oh, I don't have time. It's like, well, I'm going to find the time because people are excited for it, right? So that's something to think about with your how often. It's not about how often, but how like good is what you're doing.
Exactly. Okay, that kind of brings us to our next question. How do I show my personality if I'm just a private person or if I think I'm just not that interesting?
Well, one of our most downloaded episodes ever, I think it's episode 4. What if my life is too boring to be content? I highly recommend listening to a deep dive on this. But to keep it really simple, is when we are showing up on social media, again, just like I said, people are looking for things they're interested in, right? So if you're like, okay, I'm going to talk about my listings and about real estate, then your whole audience that isn't thinking about moving right now, or they're not interested in that today, they're just going to say like, not for me, and scroll right by. Well, we don't want them to do that, right? So having that pop of personality, having that like just behind the scenes of our lives, those are the things people connect with. So we don't have to share something that's extravagant or like how we backpacked across Western Europe to be interesting, right? Like, did anyone notice the Friends reference?
That's all
It
I can
can
think about.
it can be some like the mundane things are the connector pieces. Like when you think about even when you just watch a TV show, the things you relate to, it could be like, oh, the mom's running late with her kids, or like
Yeah.
she can't figure out what to wear, or like, oh my gosh, like she got her hair done and feels so much better. Like those little movie
Yeah.
moments. It's always these mundane things that we're like, oh, like that, like I relate to that, or like I love a movie how they're like they transform in like a matter of 5 minutes. So they go
Right.
from like not cute and whatever to be like full blown makeover, in
Right. Super
shape,
hot.
cute outfit. I like to picture that happening for me all the time. So anyways, think of like just sharing your relatable moments. What would your ideal person that you would serve in real estate, like when they're not thinking about moving, what else in their life would relate to yours? So like life phases, it could be like getting back to school. It could be, oh, the kids are home from school because of another fall break. Or like you mentioned that when we were talking
Mhm.
earlier, Kayla. It's just like sharing these little moments of our lives, what we're making for dinner, what we are reading, what we're watching on TV. Like people wanna know these things. It's like that peek behind the curtain into
Yeah.
the things that not only someone else can find themselves in because they also are watching something on Netflix right now, or they're also cooking dinner and don't know what to make, or they're also needing, like, a spa day or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
those little things are gonna make you relatable. So it's not about, like, sharing every single aspect of our lives and, like, you know, every week we're gonna share an about me post. Like, we don't need to do that. It's just these little moments that we're inviting people in behind the scenes in our stories, and you get to choose what that is. So, like, you could share very, very little. And even if you shared like what you made for dinner every day, like let's take something really simple, like that's like your thing. You're gonna share that in your stories, even if it's heating up leftovers, even if it's
Yeah.
getting takeout, even if it's I just saw this girl who's doing a showing up every day, getting dressed with my greens. And so she wanted to challenge herself to get dressed every day because she works from home and get ready. So she's turning it into a daily reel where she's actually showing her outfit and that she's drinking her greens. Like so simple, memorable, repeatable. I can't wait to see what she's wearing next, you know? So like it's these little things like that that you could do. So like taking it back to the dinner example, if you're just sharing like what I'm making for dinner every night and then you start having conversations of like, oh, what's that recipe? Or like, I am also getting takeout. Or where's your favorite place to go in Lake Country for takeout when you have a really busy night or soccer practice or whatever? Like, you're just building this runway for someone to come interact with you before they need to buy or sell. But what that's then doing is it's keeping you top of mind to them as the agent who also shares what they make for dinner every night, right? So, like,
Right.
it might seem insignificant or it might seem like, well, that's not really that much of my personality. But the point is, we're just sharing a little splash, but to the person on the other side, it's gonna feel like they know everything about you. Like, just like your favorite creators, like, they may show, like I think of Jessica Garvin, and in my email today, I said, if you listen to our episode even once, you probably heard me talk about her, so here's her debut for the day. Jessica Garvin, she's always sharing, like, her cute little coffee glass that she's her icon glass of the season from Anthropology, and her cute little party setups. Like, I have no idea what her and her husband talk about at night or, like, even necessarily what they're watching on TV or like the problems they had with their kids or the homework battle that they face. Like you don't when you share a splash of personality, it's just enough for someone to feel like, oh, I like this here. I like it here. I want to know more. I like you. It's not sharing your dirty laundry. It's not sharing all the things in your life. It's like intentionally picking a couple of little splashes that you weave into that real estate life so that you have a brand, not just a real estate billboard.
Yeah. And it is true. Like, I like the idea too. And we had a member say this to us recently in one of the trainings, how I forget how she worded it, but basically, like, all the freedom came when I realized I'm in control of what I share. Like, I don't have to share what people think I should share. I can decide how much of my family life I want to share, how much of my personal life I want to share. The point is just to share a little bit of something. And you're totally right. Sharing just a little bit of something, you are going to have people who feel like they know you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm that way. But like what you said about Jessica Garvin, I feel that way about Jenna Kutcher. I feel like I could talk to her about so many things and I could probably predict what she would bring to this and how she would do. Like, I could know all of those things. I don't actually know her, like, at all. She actually doesn't share that much private information, just enough to kind of keep you like hooked. And really it's kind of the same with us too, right? Like, we share things with people, whatever, and you can choose to be as open or as like closed book as you want. But the point is giving them a little something, like giving them that little nugget that lets them engage with you, lets them connect with you, find that common ground. And that's what makes them think of you. It's not about sharing everything. The other thing that I'll add about if you don't feel like you're that interesting is to look at some of like, and I know it's TV characters, right? But look at someone like Lorelai Gilmore. Like, her life is not that interesting, right? She's a single mom. She has, one kid. She is trying to run it in. She's dating, like, kind of about it. What does she like to do for fun? She likes to stay home and sit on her couch and watch old movies and eat frozen food.
And
Like,
pizza.
right. It's not that wild of a life, right? Look at Joey Tribbiani, right? He tries to get jobs. He doesn't get hired very often. He likes to date girls and he likes to eat food and
And watch
literally,
Baywatch.
and yeah, and sit around with his friends. He's got a chicken, a duck. You know what I mean? Like, it's not now, of course, they glamorize those things. And of course, they choose people that are super attractive, all of those things. However, the point is that your life is a little bit more interesting than what you think that it is. And just showing tiny little aspects of your life. Like, the one thing that I like to share is just like what book I'm reading with my kids. Every time I share something, I can predict within about 20 minutes, I'm going to have at least 5 or 6 messages from people saying, "Oh, I've wanted to read that," or "That's been on my list," or "I loved it too." And, and I share that maybe once a month. Like when we finish a book, I'll share like we liked it or we didn't like it, moving on. But it's just a little piece of your life that you're sharing with them. I'm not sharing our bedtime routine. I'm not sharing, my kids' favorite comforters or I'm not actually sharing much personal information about my kids at all because they don't want me to, but just sharing just that little nugget, and it gives people a little glimpse into our lives. So I love that.
Even how you have the football life angle in your content, it doesn't mean that you talk about that every day. And it
Right.
doesn't mean that you are at a football game every day. But because usually on Fridays you post that you're at the football stadium. Why do I struggle with sports words? You're
Those sports games,
at the football game, when they get a
the football
never mind.
match. Yeah.
The football match. They get a point. It feels like it's so big in your brand, but it's not like it's every day. And that's also something to think about. Like, because you want to incorporate, like, even my dinner example, it doesn't really mean you have to do it every day. If you did it once a week, people would think like you're always sharing what you eat for dinner. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really entertaining to see I would love to see someone really tell me what you eat for dinner every single day. Cause like, if you think about it, I'm not cooking extravagant meals every day. Like, what
No.
am I throwing together? What am I whipping up? Like, I would love to actually see that. Um,
Exactly. That's another example, though, about the football thing. It is so funny. There's so many ways to look at this, but I actually purposely don't share very much at all about life as a coach's wife. First of all, especially in real time, because there's always, a little bit of drama. Then I don't want, like, sometimes I'll take like video footage of people like visit my husband in his office and stuff. And then I look closer and I'm like, oh, there's a play written right there. And I know that some of our opponents follow me. So not going to share that. Like, there's those little things that like I'm not actually sharing that much about it. And especially not sharing those things in real time as far as my experience as a coach's wife. What I'm sharing is just like those little pieces of us like walking into a game, of the snacks that we got from the concession stand, that kind of thing, just to let people feel like they're right there with us at the game, right? But they're not actually experiencing that life with us.
That's such a good point. Yeah, these are all great ideas. I hope that if you take something and run with this, it's just picking one little thing from your life and start bringing it into your stories, like that simple. Or
Yeah.
it could be like having the Gilmore Girls on in the background of your reel when you're talking about buying a house. I mean, like, they're just little pops, little splashes. That's like when you're making a drink and you add your garnish and whatever. I don't make cocktails really. Kayla, you're getting better at making old fashions.
I sure
When you add
did.
do you do club soda, Sprite, or squirt?
Just for a little bit of background information so that you feel like you know us. When I visited Chelsea for the first time in Wisconsin, she was like, well, you have to try an old fashioned. And it's nothing like an Indiana old fashioned because they make them completely differently there. And every once in a while, I'm not like a big drinker, but every once in a while, I'm like, oh, just a nice cold, crispy old fashioned sounds delicious. So last weekend I texted Chelsea and I was like, okay, I'm trying to make it. Like, here's what I got so far. It didn't taste bad. I think I needed to work on my how much Sprite
Proportions.
versus how much brandy I put in, but it was really good. I'm gonna get good at it, and then I'm gonna host a supper club.
Oh,
So
fun. And
I'll
then
keep
you
you
could do the
posted.
fish fry. I I only have one a year. I don't like love them. I think they're good, but I just don't love I do actually don't mind brandy, but like Mark will drink a bourbon old fashioned, which I do not like. But I'll have like one a year because my grandma would always make them on Christmas, my grandma and my uncle,
Aw,
and they'd have like the actual cinnamon stick and the orange peels and like it was
yes,
so good. So now
yes.
my grandma's been gone for over 10 years now, but we still make them every Christmas when we get together with that family. We do our old fashioned with our cinnamon stick, and it's like so like a yummy treat once a year, but like I don't need them more
Yes.
often than that.
I love that so much. That's awesome.
Okay, what were we talking about?
Okay. I think you were going to ask me a
Okay, yes,
question.
your turn. Okay, I don't want to annoy my email subscribers by emailing too much.
Oh, friend, that is all mindset. Okay. What you project usually reveals more about what you think about yourself. So if you are projecting that your subscribers are going to be annoyed, maybe deep down, you think your emails are a little annoying. Okay. Or maybe you think, like, oh, who am I to share whatever, which again, mindset work, right? But if people have opted into your emails and you don't email them consistently, I think you're doing them a disservice. You're basically telling them, like, you're not really worth my time and energy. And, like, the example we always go back to is, like, dating, right? If Brett had asked me out on a date and I'm like, yes, and then he just dilly-dallied around and he never actually arranged a date, never picked a time, never called, or only called once in a while, or only decided to pick me up, like, "Yeah, I'm free tonight. Let's go right now." Like, I would have never married the guy,
Your
right?
friends would be like, "Leave now."
Red flag, red flag. Exactly, exactly. But instead, one thing I said about him that I liked from the get-go was the very first time that he ever dropped me back off at my door, he said, "Can I call you tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "What time can I call you?" And he literally called at that exact time. And I was like, "Oh, I never have to wonder when he's gonna call, if he's gonna call." Like, he actually does what he says he's gonna do, you
Oh
know?
my gosh, that's such a green flag moment because
It was literally, yes.
Mark said, "When can I see you again?" That was so, like,
Yes.
similar wording, and I still remember it clear as day. I can picture being in there,
Yep.
and then it was decided. Like, it wasn't
Yes.
like this up in the air, "Oh, I don't know," like, playing games.
Yes.
Yes,
I
yeah.
felt like the guys I dated before they were fine, but I felt like after every date, I would call my mom and be like, "Well, he said this. What do you think that means?" And with Brett, I was like, "He said this, and I think he meant it." Like, there's nothing to discuss. So, all that being said, that's what we wanna be for our followers, right? And our subscribers, people in our community. We wanna be so
Reliable.
reliable. Yes, so reliable, so trustworthy, and when you feel good about the emails that you're sending, you want to send them. Like, it's like if you've, think of it like when you're like scrolling through Instagram and you see a funny reel or something that like your sister will crack up at, or your best friends will think this is so hilarious. Why wouldn't you send it to them? And that's how we want you to feel about your emails. That's why we're really passionate about the emails that we provide our members in the membership. Our members get messages all the time that they share with us from their followers and their subscribers saying, like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best newsletter ever. I open up yours all the time," or, "Oh my gosh, these are like my favorite things." Like, it's not because they're anything necessarily like, "Oh, amazing," but it's because they are story led. They are, behind the scenes. They are not super salesy. They just drip in a little bit of real estate. There's a little splash of humor, all of those things. So when you lead with that, you want to send those emails and you don't feel like you're being annoying. So, as long as your subscribers are actually opting in, you don't want to just put people on your email list because you sold them a house 5 years ago. As long as they are actually opting in through like a lead magnet or even just like a landing page saying, "I have an email club and this is what I do," you're doing them a disservice by not sending them that email.
You heard we're basically hosting the real estate version of Camp Walden, right?
Yep, you bring the peanut butter and Oreos, and we'll bring the tools you need to get crystal clear on your personal brand so that you can stop blending in and get more referrals from your content.
Does that sound like a dream? Because it doesn't have to be. Kayla and I will be your camp counselors, walking you through every step of the way, and it's all happening at Camp Modern Agent, a live 5-day challenge from November 3rd through the 7th, and it's for members and non-members alike.
We're showing you how to finally get clear on your personal brand, stand out, and sell more houses by showing up on Instagram with magnetic content instead of feeling lost in the woods without a compass.
By the end of the 5 days, you will have clarity around what you want your personal brand to be. You'll know exactly what makes you stand out. You'll have a repeatable plan for content that feels like you and not random. You'll be able to define why someone should follow you on Instagram, and you'll have a filter that you run your content through so everything feels cohesive.
So if you're ready for a brand that feels elevated and to finally stand out in your market, go save your spot at modernagentsocialclub.com/camp. Spots are limited.
And we'll meet you at the virtual campfire. I have one more thing to add too, is if you ever feel like that about anything, it could be posting, stories, am I doing too many reels? Ask yourself the question, what's in it for them? What is in it for the follower? What is in it for the person opening the email? If it's all like, let me know if you know anyone looking to buy or sell, or like, hey, here's how to work with me, or I would love referrals. Like if that's the bulk of your content, or like, here's my new listing, that probably is not, there's nothing in it for them, right? They're gonna be like, unsubscribe, this is junk.
Yeah.
Oh, like another email that's pre-generated from some broker, whatever, talking about industry jargon, all the things. They're gonna be running away from that, right? So like ask yourself, like read it before you send it and ask yourself what is in it for them. read it, pretend you're your ideal client or your best friend reading it. What's their take on it, right? And you can definitely shift things around sometimes to make sure like this actually sounds like it's from me. Like maybe you add a picture of yourself and you share, here's what we're up to this weekend, or here's my favorite thing we did this month. Like add in some pop of some personal touch, and that's going to drastically change how your email is perceived and read. Like even sharing like one local favorite that you did this week or month, even having that one thing in there, like
Yeah.
going back to consistency, someone's going to think like, okay, I'm opening this because I want to see her local thing this week. Or I just got an email and they did like my five, oh, what was it? Like my five go-tos lately or something. And she shared like a combination of things, like an article she loved. And then it was like this product I'm loving and the show that I'm watching and the book I read. And like, so having a component like that, like we do that in our monthly member email that has the monthly recap, it's called, where they share like what they're reading, eating, celebrating, whatever order of letters I'm doing, just like a splash of fun things, right? So do something that someone can come to expect. Reliability builds trust so
Yeah.
fast. So even if they're not even reading your full email, but they see your name and they're like, okay, she's consistent, all the things. Like I recently asked our members this question in a training. I said, like, if someone were to follow you around for a week, would it look like you're serious about your goals? Like, that's a convicting question, isn't it? And being like, "Oh my gosh, like, I skipped my email for 2 months because I feel dumb or I feel like no one wants to read it," or like, you're not taking your goals seriously then. And do you want a seller to take you seriously where with their
Yep.
biggest investment? I mean, like, you gotta circle it back. Like, we are overthinking very little things when we could be focusing on, "How could I make this a little bit better, and how could I really make sure there's something in it for them and be consistent?" Like, these little shifts make the biggest difference in how you show up for your business, for your clients, and how they're gonna then in turn view you and want to work with you or not.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
like the first truth.
Yeah, exactly. That's so good. Okay, question for you. If I get lots of engagement in stories, should I even bother posting on my grid?
Do I love this question? Because I also get much more engagement in stories. So, what I like to think about stories as is I want you to think about your feed as your storefront. Like people are walking by, like they might see a reel in the feed or in the explore feed, or because it's local, they might have like driven by it, right? But like, are they deciding to come inside? So, like, if you picture yourself like in a city with a bunch of shops or just in your own little downtown and you're walking past the storefronts, like obviously like we have our little boutiques, we have Frey and Homebody, and like you get like this little preview of what's inside that's going to make you, okay, I have to go see that dress, or I'm going in to get this, or oh my gosh, they have their fall stuff out, right? Like it's giving you this little preview of what you can expect when you go in. So when someone sees a post in your feed, that's when they can decide, do I want to follow them? Do I want to see more? Do I want to click and look at their profile? Do I want to walk in the doors? Now, once someone's already following you, your stories are, I mean, for the most part, it would be very rare that a non-follower is seeing your story. Your stories are seen by your followers. So stories are great, but the reason they are more engaging is because the most of the people seeing them are followers that already know you. They already decided to click follow. They decided to tap your story bubble. No one was serving them that randomly in their feed, right? So they're choosing to engage with your content. So stories do get more engagement because of that. So how can we think about like the content we're putting out in our feed should almost be more of like this little taste, this little preview, this little splash of like, here's what you can get here. Like, that's why we say we don't want to just post robot real estate content, right? Because most of the people following you aren't moving tomorrow. They're not moving in the next 3 years or 3 months or 3 years necessarily, but they might know someone who is. So we want to get them interested through content that feels interesting to them or entertaining to them. And then they come in and now they're also watching your stories. So your feed is going to help you grow. It's going to help you get in front of more local people, more local eyeballs, people who maybe didn't see your story bubble in the lineup. Like that's what we want to do with our feed content, but you're probably going to have more of like a conversion and like the nurturing happening in your actual story. So I definitely think both are important. I
Yeah.
think what you could do is get a little bit more strategic with your feed content where it might drive someone to watch your stories or like you have a call to action just to simply follow you, right? Like follow me for more. City name, local spots, behind the scenes of the real estate
Yeah.
market, and mom life, like that could be your call to action that gets them to be like, oh, I want to go like check her out, like versus just a random reel that they scroll by and never see again. The other thing is just like our stories, our content isn't guaranteed to be seen by our followers either. So that's a whole nother thing, which can make someone feel like, is this even worth it? Right. But you have to think of it again, that's your storefront. If someone's coming to look at you, when's the last time you posted? What's the most relevant content that you have? Like, it should make sense for your business to be look like it's open and operate and consistent, right? So how are you showing up for your business that relates to your goals? It's that question again, is like, what does it look like to someone coming to look at, like, check me out? Or like, if someone sent this to their friend who's thinking about listing their home, like, what do I want them to see? Like, what would you feel good about? Like, what
Right.
would you want to see if you went and looked up a realtor that you were considering working with, right? You're going to probably want to, like, just having like a feed full of listings or real estate content or like generic graphics, that would give you no inkling or motivation to be like, I'm going to call them. You'd
Yeah.
probably want to learn something about them. You'd want to like be able to get a feel for like, what is it like to work with them? Or like, how can, like, can I see their face? Can I hear their voice in any of these pieces of content? So if I actually do meet with them, I kind of know what to expect. Like, we have that opportunity now. Just like when you list a house and they say like the first showing is online, your first impression with someone is online
Yeah.
at this point. So how are you making that first impression what you want it to be?
Yeah. I mean, sticking with the whole dating example, think of your feed as your dates, right? You're going out like, and it's fun to go to a nice dinner or go to a movie or go to a play or whatever. But then at some point in time, if you really like the person, you're going to want to just like go to their house and hang out, or you're going to want to go to their niece's birthday party with them, or you're going to want to like go that extra mile. That's more like stories, right? So you need those dates, those need to be there and they need to be good, right? But then they also need to lead to a place where it's a little bit more behind the scenes, a little more like, okay, real life, when we're not all dressed up, when we're not all whatever, like, how are you really? Like what do you really like? So I love that. And
I really like
also,
that example.
yeah, we also have episode 8 is all your Instagram stories connecting you with future clients. That's a good episode too, just to kind of go over the overall purpose of stories, but also like how do you actually use them to connect you with future clients.
I love it. Okay, my turn for a question. How would you post about an open house or price reduction?
Oh, we get this question a lot, do we not?
We a lot.
We
Yes.
do. And it's funny, our answer is no.
No.
Just no, stop it. Okay, let me dive into that. So think of it this way. Remember, social media is not the MLS. Okay. There are things that you're going to put on the MLS that you are never going to put on social media. There's things you're going to put on social media that you never put on your website. I mean, it goes all these different places, right? You have to know where things belong. Social media is a place to be social with your community. So you think, okay, we have this price reduction. I want my seller to know that I am still marketing the property. I am still trying to do that. That's fantastic. In that situation, I would create another little reel with some of the clips that you captured on picture day, or you can like reshare the photos in a different way. You can maybe just highlight one specific room of the listing and then talk about like how it's a great time to buy, or if you want your payment to only be this much a month, like this could work for you, whatever. Sometimes it feels like people want to be sharing all of those things, but the truth is the people who really need to know about the price reductions, people who really need to know about the open houses, they're on the MLS. Their agents are contacting them. They're getting updates from the MLS, like through, home buyer searches, that kind of thing. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't say, hey, I'm getting ready for my open house today and I'm picking up, this on my way in your stories, that kind of thing. But you don't necessarily need a post dedicated to that piece of content. Even going a step further, think about even just like your listing videos in general, right? Yes, they market your listing, but little known secret from most sellers, they're actually mostly there to showcase your brand. They're mostly there to market yourself as the agent. Most people aren't buying a home because they saw it on social media. Most of them are buying it because it was either sent to them by their agent or because they were scrolling realtor.com, that kind of thing. Now, it can happen. Of course, there's always exceptions, but that is the biggest thing to keep in mind. So, yes, you still want to market properties, and yes, you still want to be creative and all of that because, yes, it's great to be able to tell your sellers, hey, I got this many views on this, or this many shares, or this is the email list that I send my listings to, and this is how many people I have, and my open rate. Like, those are all super great things, and we are all about that. But I'm mostly there for you to showcase what it's like to work with you and to market yourself as the agent. So
Like, yeah, what is she gonna do when she lists my house?
exactly,
Someone should be
exactly.
able to see that through Instagram, and you can use your listings to do that,
Yeah,
but it doesn't need to serve as, like, an announcement. So again, going back to the billboard, it's not a billboard, so you don't, like, hang a rider up and put, like, "Price reduction on this
right.
listing," like, it's so confusing to me too because Instagram is being seen by literally everyone in the world, you could say, is
Yep.
on Instagram, right? So when we're gonna post about a listing in a specific neighborhood, in a specific city, in a specific state that is only applicable to a very teeny tiny amount of people, we're not you're not using that to sell the house. Like, yes, we want to show the house. We want to show the features. We want to use that as content. There's so much content you can get from a listing. But just like what we're saying, it doesn't really make sense to think like that's going to be the thing that sells it. Maybe someone is like, wow, that's a cute house. I mean, I follow so many agents in all over the country that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a cool house or that's
Yeah,
cute. I mean, I'm not gonna buy it. You know what like
right.
you need to know your audience and where that piece of content is going. And like it doesn't make sense to expect someone to come to your Instagram to know if there's a price reduction or for you to
Yeah,
talk about it. It's something I almost wouldn't want to advertise. Like, we're gonna reduce this. It's probably something I would just keep for the MLS or my email list, little PS. But just yeah, knowing what makes sense for the platform. Like Instagram is a social media app. It is the handshake, the meet and greet. It isn't a billboard. It's not a sales pitch. It's not a
yeah.
announcement section. Like it
No.
needs to be, so we need to treat it in that way and know what is appropriate where. Like what I would almost do is like if you have a website and you have your listings on your website, then you would have like in your stories like, hey, like once a week, here's my check out my listings, blah, blah, blah. And you have like some type of call to action to get them to go look at them or something. Like that's what I would do. Or like I know a friend of ours is an agent and he'll do like if you're on his email list, you'll get early access to see like pictures of a listing. Like this is coming on the market soon on this lake or whatever. And it's like, ooh, like I get to see that early. Like it feels like this exclusive experience. He's not like just blasting it on social media. And point is know your place and what makes sense on different platforms.
Yeah, exactly. Can we give our people just a little bit of a sneak peek of what's coming in Modern
Yeah.
Agent to address
Yeah.
this very thing?
Yes.
So, we have been working really hard behind the scenes to come up with like a part of the website on the platform where it really helps you launch your listing and like market it well. So, pretty soon, we don't know the exact day yet, but pretty soon we're rolling out a whole new section of the website for you to use as a resource every time you go to launch a listing. You'll have all your posts there, all your real ideas, story ideas, all of that, email blurbs, but also just like the overall rundown of like, okay, my listing's going live in a week. What do I do? Or it's been sitting for 3 weeks and had 0 showings. What do I do? Like, how do I market it? We're going to have all of that mapped out for you to make this super easy. And you're going to know what to do when it comes to price reductions and open houses and all of those things.
And not only to market the listing like we said, but to also build your brand through it and to get the right content when you have a listing so that even when you're listing, like let's say your listing sells on day 1 and now you're like, well, that was it. Like there's life beyond that listing that you can use as content and we're going to show you how to do it and it will also impress your sellers because we're talking like, hey, seller, I'm going to stop over here for an hour to do these things to get more eyeballs on your listing, like that type of stuff. So it's called Launch Your Listing. It's a custom marketing plan, something we're launching very, very soon. It's going to be really cool. I'm so excited.
Yes, our members are super excited and it is cool. Like, there's just nothing else out there like it. So I'm excited about it.
Until they hear this episode.
I know. Anyway, okay, I have one more question for you.
Yes.
How do I share behind the scenes content if I have no clients?
Oh, great question. First, I have another episode to direct you to. It is episode 32, What to Post When You Have No Clients. But honestly, having no clients is a blessing when it comes to social media because you have no excuse that there is no time or that there is no whatever. Only a small portion of what you're sharing on Instagram really should be house specific anyways, right? Like we have already cleared up. We're not having feeds full of just listed or just sold. So like you don't need that to create content. But what you can do is you can not only keep learning about real estate, keep learning about what kind of agent you're going to be and shaping that when you don't have clients. You can do things that you would never probably have time for if you did have a bunch of clients. So things like neighborhood tours and just going to brokers opens and doing things like that, sharing what's on your schedule for the day. You can simply pull up MLS and share behind the scenes of MLS in a story, and that's content, right? Like it doesn't mean
Yeah.
your listing or your client. It could be like setting up home searches or looking at what's new on the market today. Just think of like if you had no clients, you should be learning everything there is to know about your local market and community so that you do have content. The other thing is things like what it looks like when you say, I want to sell my house with you and creating a reel. You don't need a client to do that. But like when someone does reach out, what do you do? So it might be you do a champagne celebration. It might be that you send them this specific email and you pack up this folder of content and you send them this video to watch of you telling them what to have ready for when you come to their house. Like it could be, I'm going to send them my showing prep checklist, whatever it is. Like there's so many little things that you can show to document your process that you don't need a client for. And that's going to help people see like, oh, this is what it's like when I reach out. This is what happens. Or they get that like repetitive, warm, cozy feeling of this is my next step. Or like even repeating something like that in different ways. Like I love the idea. Like if you think of like the day in the life type content, but yours is more like what it's like to work with me angle. And every time you're like filling up a coffee, but maybe it's a different mug. You're walking out the door, doing a mirror selfie, but it's a different outfit. You're getting your buyer and seller folders, and that's the same clip. Like you can build out this like library of content that lets you make a bunch of content and you don't need like new clients or new stories or new anything. Even going back to like picking a story that you have had an experience with and using that on repeat in your content. Like we keep using the word repeatable content and repeat it and consistent, blah, blah, blah. Like it's for a reason. It's because
It's
when you
almost
do
like it
that,
works.
it's almost like it works. It's because it builds your brand. We don't
Yeah.
always need something new. We don't always need a new client. Like the more you can repeat and get repetitive and consistent with your messaging, your stories, your angle, the painting the picture of what is it going to be like when I do sign a listing contract with you. That's how you're going to bring those clients in faster and those referrals in faster. And then you're going to be like, wait, how did I ever have time before this? So like leverage that time, use it to learn about your market, about your
Yeah.
clients. Like even like, I love the idea of what to do like in a reel or something, like what to do if you're thinking about making a move. Like what are the things you would recommend someone starts doing now if they maybe aren't ready for 6 months? Like drive to the neighborhoods that you're considering,
Yeah.
see what they look like at different times of night, go to the local, like what's nearby, like what's in driving distance or walking distance, what school district is it in, go get coffee at one of the local coffee shops nearby and see if you like that community. Like you could create all this content and that doesn't
Yeah.
need a single client to create any of that, right?
No, no, and it's hard to have that content when you're busy with clients, so it's a great time to do that. Other ones that I've written down are you can schedule showings in vacant houses and just go tour them. Plus, that gives you a lot of time to, like, learn things too. Even, like, I know for me, like, my most intimidating part of showing houses in the beginning was, like, if they had, like, utility questions or if they were like, "Now what is that pipe for? What is this?" And it was like, "Oh, hold on, I don't know." But just, like, when you have time to, like, kind of study a home and be like, "Oh, I recognize that. Like, that is this or that is whatever," you know? You could be meeting with lenders, you could be meeting with, like, stagers or people like that and just ask questions, like, make those connections with them. But one of my favorite things you can do, and you don't even have to leave the house with this, but it's just a good way to remind people that you are in the business of home, is like sharing a roundup. I'll share a link here. Someone shared this. I thought it was so good, but it was features you'd find in my dream house. And none of these pictures are hers, but they're just pictures of homes that she liked. And it's just sharing like, oh, I would like one of them was like a dinner bell, or I would have a little like shed out back, or have like a brass faucet. But like you can pull photos from places like Pinterest or even like dupe photos or whatever, or you could even like share photos from Instagram and just give that person credit, like, hey, I got this from this account. You can share so many things like that and just like remind them that you are in the business of home. Another thing you can say is like a roundup of things I've saved lately or my latest home pins, whatever. It's just interesting. And you know what's really cool about those is it gives people a good glimpse at your personal brand. So, you know, everyone's homes are gonna be different. My homes, like anything I would share home related would have a lot of color or like some like a creative piece of art on the walls or something like that. Other people like yours are gonna be more Nancy Myers-ish, right? You know what I mean? And so like I don't have to have this like amazing home to take all these photos, but I can share a roundup of things that I like and things that I enjoy and use that as content. And that's a great way to show, hey, I'm, doing things with home. I love all things home. I love helping you love your home, love where you live without even having clients.
I love those ideas. And even like if I wanted these features, here's where I'd look. Or if I wanted this location, this is the subdivisions I would tour. Like there's
Yeah.
so much you can do from the lens of like who you would love to work with as a client and create content around that that would make them be like, oh, she must be really familiar with this, you know?
Yeah.
I think about when I started going to my current hair girl, I called and I said, like, I want someone who's really good with blondes. And I said, like, because I had come from a bad experience and I just wanted someone that was going to like know how to do blonde and do enough of blonde and blah, whatever. And so they recommended someone. And it's the same thing. Like when you start to position yourself as like, I really know this area, people are going to gravitate towards you in that area. You're
Yeah.
literally like choosing that by the content you're creating. So if you were like, I wish I could sell more houses where I lived, or I wish I could be more known in Lake Country, start creating content in that area and
Yeah.
around those topics. Even like a simple like weekly every Monday, what's new on MLS in this city, and you share behind the scenes on your laptop and then you pop up a question sticker saying, "Do you want a list of homes for sale in this area? Drop your email here." Like if you do that every Monday,
Yeah.
you're probably going to get some leads.
Yeah. And it might take a little while. It takes a little while for people to understand, oh, I can respond to her or I can ask these questions. But the time will come and, the shift will start to happen. And really, what's so exciting about this time of year right now is if you really start doing some of these things, if you commit to not leaning on your excuses, but actually getting creative instead of just complaining and all of those things, and like take some of our advice here, if you start doing that even like today, come January 1st, you might have a completely different business. Like you could easily have more people reaching out to you, even if your market is slow. You could have more people reaching out to you then than ever before, just because you've stayed top of mind. And that's the whole point of all of this stuff, right? Everything that we've talked about, whether it's been like emailing people or getting in your stories or, how you post about different things, all of the whole point of all of those things is to stay top of mind and to be the first agent someone thinks of when they think of moving. If you can accomplish that with even 50 people in your community, like even if they're followers wherever, they're going to tell those 50 people are going to tell their 50 people and those 50 people, like it's a ripple effect. And what happens is I think people want that instant gratification where they have like right now business. And so they just go to like some online lead thing and pay the $1,000 and try to get a lead by next month. But that's a hamster wheel business, right? That's not that long-term business that we were striving for. So start putting a few of these things into practice like today, and you might just be surprised come 2026.
I even love the idea of asking yourself, like writing down the exact, like, what if I knew exactly what to post? What if I knew exactly what I was sending to my email list? What if people were excited to get on my email list? What if people were excited to open my emails? What if my feed felt really good and like I was very proud when a seller came to look at it? Like literally just asking yourself those questions is going to get you closer to like stopping your excuses and stopping that limited scarcity mindset, and instead being like, okay, I'm ready for this. Like I'm capable and I can do this. Like your mindset can go from the complaining or the overwhelm or the whatever to the I'm capable, I'm going to figure it out. And like you're going to have those two personality or two different mindsets will have drastically different results.
Yeah.
The negative mindset on January 1st will still be the exact same place.
Yeah.
You have the I am capable. I am going to figure this out. I can do this. I'm like not worrying about all the little nuances. I'm just going to start taking action. Your business will be so much better on January 1st. Like you are in that perfect window of time right now, which I think is so exciting. And I can't wait to see what happens for you just from that. Like from that
Yep.
alone.
From that
Imagine
alone.
if.
I
Imagine if.
love that. Very cool. Chelsea, this is another super great episode. I love podcasting with you and talking with our listeners and helping agents just, become better and better. We firmly believe that modern agents are the best agents out there. The only thing holding them back is that people don't know that. So we're trying to make sure that everyone knows how great these guys are. And it's an honor to be a part of that. So I love this. This was so fun.
Wait, I have one more thing.
Oh, what?
My lightning round.
Oh, you have a lightning round? I forgot
Yes.
about this. Okay. Well, cut all of
Okay.
that out.
No, leave it. We'll just end after this. It's fine. Okay. We're gonna end after this. Okay. It's me asking you a series of questions like north route, south route. Why is it
Okay.
so hard to say? Okay, ready?
I guess.
You can only have one. Flowdesk or Canva?
Canva.
Nonfiction or fiction?
Nonfiction.
Gilmore Girls or Friends?
Friends.
Carousel posts or Reels?
I want girls on bread.
Instagram stories or feed?
Stories.
Trending audio or voiceover?
Voiceover.
Purple or pink?
Pink.
Modern agent.
Purple. I thought I'd say purple.
Now
I'm getting nervous.
You just spoke the truth. Modern agent or there's not another choice.
Modern agent.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love this place. I love our people. That's fun.
Me too. So fun. All right. Thank you guys. You can end with the lightning round, Adrian. No need to. We will see you all next Tuesday.
Bye.
I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.